Welcome to RedPill Torah, calling believers from man's institutions to God's instructions. Today's guest is a great blessing. You'll be glad you heard this podcast. I'm Tim.
And I'm Miss. Our guest story is very relevant to current topics being discussed all around our country and overseas. Let's talk about it.
Now, if you didn't know, the Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. Understanding and believing the Torah gives context to the rest of the Bible. You can email us at redpilltorah@gmail.com. Find us at our website, www.redpilltorah.com. Follow us on redpilltorah.podbean.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts. We love to hear from you.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And a big shalom to our listeners in California and Colombia. Listen out for RedPill Torah on a radio station near you.
Our guest today is our friend Ola. Now, some of the things that we will discuss are very controversial these days, especially if we don't remember that the salvation of Elohim is for all people. Please listen closely to what Ola has to say.
Ola is not the type of person to just accept what he hears. He loves to search a matter out. When he did that, Ola learned things that changed the way he sees himself and his worldview. Let's get into Ola's story. Tim, roll that tape.
Okay, so we're here with Brother Ola, and just to tell a story very quickly, Brother Ola attends the same Messianic Jewish synagogue that we go to. And I happened to be talking to Brother Ola after one Shabbat service, and I asked him about where he's from, and as he explained it, my heart began to race, thinking, oh my goodness, I had no idea. So we're going to just ask Brother Ola a few questions and let him give his story. So thank you for your time, brother. We're really grateful.
Thank you. I really am happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So you're not originally from the States. Please tell us, where are you from?
Well, once again, I really want to thank you for this opportunity given to me to be able to actually respond to your questions. Originally, I'm from Nigeria, and that is west coast of Africa, western part of Africa. And Nigeria, I belong to one of the major ethnic group, which is it's strongly called Yoruba, but it's actually Yahoruba. Yahoruba actually traced their origin. Now, not all of them, but majority traced their origin back to the land of Israel.
Ah, that's where the Yah comes from.
Yeah, that's where the Yah come from, the land of Israel. And Yoruba traditions, customs, way of life reflected the Hebrew traditions. Reflected Hebrew way of life. Let me give you an example.
Yes, please.
Like the issue of circumcision. Okay. 8 days, every Yoruba male has to be circumcised. 8 days. And thereafter, the marriages too. The marriage, pretty much like what you have in ancient days, where you have intermediary, just like Abraham sent his servant. Yes, the same thing in Yoruba culture. You cannot just see a woman outside or a young lady outside and say you love her, you want to marry her. No, even when you see her, you still have to come back to your parent. So your parent will send an emissary to go to her family, to find out. But then, going to her family also to find out actually included a lot of things that the family discovered. They will want to know what kind of family is that woman's family. The same thing, the woman's family want to know what home that daughter is going to. So it's there's no difference between when it comes to the marriages, no different at all. The way the Hebrew that you talk of You remember when Eliezer, I think that is the
Yes, it's the servant.
yeah, the servant. So when Eliezer presented a kind of gift
Yes.
to Rebecca's family, the same thing also in Yoruba land.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you have to, what is called dowry. Okay. Dowry simply mean an appreciation. It is not you buy a daughter or him. No, it's an appreciation to show that we are interested in your daughter.
Okay. A gift of appreciation.
Exactly. So you bring out dowry, something that is valuable. In those days, is gold too. You have to pay, because what that's simply saying is that we really appreciated the fact that you take care of this daughter of yours in our culture, in a way of life, to be able to become a woman. Because the belief of Yoruba, like the ancient Hebrew, is that a woman is a nation.
Oh wow.
Say, a woman is a nation. You don't treat a woman the way you treat a man, because she's a nation. Okay. And the belief of the Yorubas is that if any home or any community, any society, any nation is going to be good, then you have to trace back to the woman.
Oh boy.
Because the woman starts the early education for the child or for the children. So,
Well, we have gone very far from those ways in our country. We don't value women to that degree, especially in our urban cultures. It seems that we make music about women and we refer to them with disrespectful names, and we have fallen very far from what you're describing.
yes. Well, unfortunately, also, I think the Western culture also, don't forget that the European came to Africa to colonize Africa. And when they came to Africa, they brought in their culture. Okay. The culture also do have a very negative influence on the Hebraic tradition of African people. So you have the same thing almost here now, except you can only get that kind of a decency when you go into the rural area. Yes, where you still have that way of life. But up to this level, you cannot marry any Yoruba woman without you getting to know one another. Because they used to believe that when you are marrying a woman from any family, you are not just marrying that woman, you are married to the family.
That's right.
Not the woman.
Wow.
Yeah, you love the woman, quite right, good. But you are, because they see her family as your family, when you come together as one, a heart. So they have to be able to treat her family with dignity and respect. Yes.
Wow. Are there other ways that the Yoruba reflect the culture of the Hebrew people?
Yes, in almost in different way. But just like when the Hebrew people disobeyed the Torah.
Yes.
Okay. Remember what Abba pronounced on them? That they will serve the mighty one of the nation in which they reside. Okay. They will serve them. Okay. They will serve their deity. The same thing affected.
Yes.
Okay. But then when they came to Africa, they succeeded also in mingling with the natives too.
Yes.
And thereby studying their way of life and to some extent eroding some aspect of Hebrew culture. But I think I can say 65% of objectively Hebrew way, you can still find it among the Yorubas.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
that's interesting. That's not the model that we see in media. To think that someone with dark skin might be associated with the chosen people. That's not something that we see in media.
Well, yes, it is. Let me put it in this way: the mainstream media has put in a false narrative of people of color, actually. And when you put up a false narrative, which is not the narrative of colored people, and that is what you have. The African or the Hebrew do not have chance to present, to be able to give their own narrative.
Right.
Okay, it is someone else who is doing that for us. So then along the line you have if not the mix up, or if you have the mix up or outright falsehood. And that is what the mainstream media are presenting. And I would say that majority of them do not even know what they are talking about. To be honest, they don't even know the history. They don't even know African people. Don't forget that most of the historical books are written by Europeans author. Okay, so you can narrate what you don't have, the story that you don't have, and that is what the mainstream media are doing today. They are still pursuing what we call new colonialist mindset narrative to the people of color. Okay, so for them to look at them as not people of the book. Yes.
Well, I'm beginning to wonder here, Miss Brother Ola. Let me ask you this question. Definitely want to get back to more of the culture and the history and the background, but I'm wondering what your road was like and how did you discover Yeshua, the Messiah? Because many people could be Hebrew and they could be like many of the modern Jewish people who don't recognize that Yeshua is the Messiah. But what was your walk, and how did you meet Yeshua?
Yes. Thank you so much for actually asking me that question and bringing me back to how I came into meeting. We call it Yeshua. Yahusha. Okay.
Yahushua.
Yahusha. Yes.
Yahushua.
Well, let me give you a little background of me too.
Okay.
I came from also Christian background because my parents actually were Hebrew, but along the line they converted to Christianity of Baptist extraction.
Really?
They are Baptist, yes.
I wonder why they felt they had to convert.
Because you have to understand that when the colonialists came to Africa, they brought, not only did they come to colonize, but they came with their own religion,
Yes.
which is Christianity. And the deal is that if you don't accept Jesus, you will be schemed out of town or entirely eliminated
Oh boy.
or killed.
What?
Yes. If you don't accept, they've destroyed the whole community because the community refused to accept Jesus. Okay, so Christianity came with blood to Africa. So a lot of people who don't want to die have to, even though it is not what they want to do, but they have to convert for them to be able to preserve their seed. Okay, so they have to convert, and that is what happened. And my father became a Baptist, and he became a deacon in the Baptist church. So that was how I was raised as a Baptist. But along the line, when in my 20s, I left Baptist to join Apostolic. It's called Christ Apostolic Church.
Yes.
So it's like an apostolic, you know.
Apostolic.
Yes. So I joined Apostolic. And there I became a choir leader, a Sunday school teacher, and a youth leader.
Oh, boy.
For so many years. But when I get admission into college, I was introduced to education and philosophy and a way of life. So I started having different view about religion and all that. So, but then I began to withdraw gradually from Christianity. Okay. So, and I was doing that to the point that to some extent I stopped going to church. But then I still refer to myself as Christians and all that. I do have a Christian name which my parents gave me. I intentionally dropped that Christian name when I, but then dropping the Christian name actually does not, mean that, I've seen Yeshua at that time. Yeah, it's like a nationalist thing.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, so I dropped the Christian name from my name completely. So then I actually, for some time, I withdrew completely from Christian way of life and all that. I began to embrace the culture of my people. I began to embrace the way of life of my people, which to some extent, even though I discovered that is very similar, close to the Hebrew, because I stopped reading the New Testament and I focused on the Old Testament at that time, and I have no idea of what it is. I don't even know that I'm reading about my own people.
Wow.
But then I start to do comparison analysis, my culture, the Hebrew culture, and all that. So when I retired, I had my children here. They grew up here, all of them.
In the States?
Yeah, in the States. And, I left them. I retired to Nigeria. So in 2017, my children said, okay, you know that? If you don't come back to America, just forget about us. So I decided and I came back to U.S. So when I came back to U.S., I still attending occasionally, church. Sometimes I feel guilty sitting down at home and all that. But something happened to me personally, okay, and probably let me put it in this way: all those years that I'm in Christianity, probably I do not know who I am. See, I do not know who I am. I was defined by what they say I am, but I don't know who I am. And on May 27th, I had a dream. That's what brought me to Yeshua. I had a dream. So in my dream, I was in a very spacious office. Okay. I was inside that office. As I was about to go out of that office, I saw a gentleman sitting at the center of that office. Okay. And I said, why would I go, like in African tradition, when you see an elderly person or you see somebody, you want to say hi to them before you get out.
Yes.
So I went back. I didn't open the door. I went back to say hello. But the man that I saw looked like the vice president of Nigeria. But it's not him. Okay. But what I saw with him was the fact that he has a white woolen hair. White woolen hair. And he looked at me and he said to me, "You are calling me wrong name." And I was shocked. And I said, "Oh, what do you mean?" He repeated it again. "You are calling me wrong name." And I said to him, "But what is your name?" And he said, "Look, the name was boldly written like you know,
On the wall?
on the wall.
Oh, boy.
And it was written in Paleo-Hebrew. I don't even know it's Paleo-Hebrew. The name was written in Paleo-Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. He said, that is my name. You call me this. Don't call me the name you call me. Call me this. And as I was about to turn back, I woke up.
Wow, that's some dream.
Wow.
And I was confused. I don't know what to do. I had so much. I think I woke up around 3 a.m. in the morning. I was so confused. I was sweating. What is this? I don't know who to approach. I don't know who to talk to.
Now, a quick question.
Yes, sir.
It sounds like you had never read any descriptions in the Bible of someone with white hair.
No.
So you didn't have that as
I
a
don't
background.
have that. I don't have that background at all.
Okay, got you. Please
know.
go ahead.
So, and I was just thinking, who will I call? Who will I speak to? I don't know who is going to, like Daniel or Joseph, who is going to interpret this to me. So, but then I remember when I was doing my postgraduate here in this country, I remember that I used to have an instructor, a professor of international relation.
Yes.
And I know that every Friday, when the sun goes down, he doesn't want to do anything with you. I remember that. That came to my mind. But how will I contact him? How will I get him? I have no idea of how to get him. Okay. So, but then I remember my classmate, who also now a professor. I quickly called him and I said, do you remember Professor Allen? Oh, he said, oh yes, I'm Professor. I talked to him and I asked him, where is he? And I said, oh, you know he has retired. And I said, how are we going to get him? I'm in trouble. You know, he said, what's going on with you? I said, listen, I'm in trouble. I need to get him. Okay, so okay, can you come? So he is teaching at Southern University, in Connecticut. So he asked me to come. I went. He said, let's go to our postgraduate faculty and find out, maybe you can get his phone number there.
Yes.
So we went, and luckily we got his phone number.
Nice.
Okay.
So the phone number was given to me, and I called him. He, 5 or 10 years ago, that was when I did my postgraduate.
And he remembered you.
And he didn't remember initially, but when I say, you remember Ola, he quickly picked up and said, Ola! I said, yes. And he said, Ola, how are you? So we greeted normally and all that. And I said, Prof, I'm in trouble. He said, what happened? What's the problem? And I narrated the dream to him. For good 5 minutes. This man was silenced on phone. He did not utter a word to me. When he eventually opened his mouth, he said, Ola, that is the name of the Father that he revealed to you.
Wow.
And he said, you have no choice. And I said, but Prof, Father revealed his name to me. How will I know him? He laughed and he said, okay, you remember, he said, he used that word, I was an Orthodox Jew. But now I'm no longer Orthodox Jew. I follow, that was the first time I heard him saying, I follow Yeshua. And I said, what do you mean by Yeshua? Because I don't know. I don't know his name. He said, that is the real name of Hebrew Messiah. That's what he said to me. He said, that is the real name of Hebrew Messiah. I said, Prof, then what can I do? And he said, are you ready to come to New Jersey? And I said, Prof, anywhere you want me to come, I will come. So I went to him, and I was able to spend good 3 months. I was just shuffling between Connecticut and New Jersey. So from there, he actually introduced me to this way.
Oh, wow.
But I would say that it was Father himself that brought me to him. He just used him as instrument to know him.
Oh, my goodness.
To teach you the way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, to teach me the way.
So he must have some plans for you if he interrupted your life with a dream and showed you his name in Paleo-Hebrew when you were already, somewhat of a Christian, and, you knew about God and you knew about Jesus. But for some reason, he showed you his name in Hebrew. That's remarkable.
Yes. I think he has been grooming me, even known to me. I think I had a training ground, like, as I said, that in Christianity, I am a Sunday school teacher and a choir master. Okay. And that actually gave me the background to understand more of him. When I finally started to learn about the Asian way, because that's how my rabbi used to call it. He would say the Asian part.
Go back to the ancient past.
Yes, exactly. So you are not going to go into. He doesn't believe in modern Hebrew, even though he knows modern Hebrew very well. He's supposed to have done this for me, but then he doesn't want me to go because he believes that the modern Hebrew is more of a Aramaic language. So, and at the time he wanted to take me into all this, Yeshua called him in. So he died.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, but still, it sounds like the Father used him while he was living.
Yes.
To get a message
to get a message to me, and for me to know his real way. Okay. Let me put it. He actually, it's like when Abba called Shaul. Okay. When he called him, he asked him to go to a followers of Yeshua in Damascus.
Yes, they will tell you what you need to do.
Exactly. So he told me what I need to do and how to do it. So he started actually taking me into the Asian part. So we were in this learning curve when he died.
Okay. Brother Ola's story is amazing. He started as a Baptist, became an apostolic, researched his culture, found a connection to the covenant people of Israel, received a divine visitation from the Messiah, telling Ola to call him by a different name, and his retired professor ended up pointing Ola to Yeshua.
We've heard multiple red pill stories in which a believer was changed when they heard the name Yeshua. There is something about that name.
Amen, Daddy. When we find him, we can know who we really are, and we can know our purpose in this world. It sounds like Ola was living a good Christian life when Yeshua challenged him to change. Let's ask our listeners, what would you do if you discovered the way you live your life and some of your beliefs were out of line with God's instructions? Would you take the blue pill and ignore a message you know came from the Creator himself?
Or would you take the red pill and simply follow his instructions, whatever he has to say? Only you can answer that question. A word from Yeshua is so precious, not to be taken lightly. I love Brother Ola's tenacity to find out what the name is and what it means for him, personally. We all need to be like Brother Ola.
There's more to Ola's story, and you won't want to miss it. So far, we have plenty to think about. Please listen again and share RedPill Torah with a friend. Thanks for spending at least a few more extra minutes with us at RedPill Torah, where
you can handle the truth.